So I guess I will present both competitors from Ethiopia's the case, which is from Mexico. My name is Hao-Yu, and this is my topic. And I'm actually working on the Maquiladora, and Maquiladora is a export-oriented factory in Mexico border cities. About 1960s, Mexico government actually have this border industrialization plans to make the border cities about like 60 kilometers from the U.S. border to be a specialized economic zones. And those factories that operate by the foreign investments and the foreign enterprise that they call it Maquiladora. Yeah. And so in their original plan, I mean, for the Mexican government, in their original plan, this Maquiladora or this border industrialization program is trying to absorb the returning Barcelo workers. The Barcelo workers is Mexican government. They have a negotiation with U.S. government during the World War II. They asked for the workers to the U.S. For the because during the wartime, most of the U.S. labor force they go to war, so they provide U.S. For their labor force. Yeah, but after the War II ended, these Barcelo workers returned, and so the Mexican government they try to they kind of foresee that these workers might be stay around the border cities, and most of them are young men, and so they try to absorb this labor force by industrialize their border cities. Well, this original goal didn't really successful, but they do attract many foreign investments in these border cities. And in fact, after 1960s, these Maquiladora industrials become like one of very important income for the Mexican government. Yeah, and so that is actually a short history of the Maquiladora, and it's my research background. And today I'm going to talk about like there's a change of their labor law during the 2012. Like I actually done my field work in Mexico, one of the Maquiladora in the Mexico City, Tijuana, which is below the U.S. city Santiago, and around 2016. And I remember like the first week and almost the first thing that really shocked me is that when I walked into the factories, and I thought there are many different uniforms. Like people actually wear totally different uniforms and they work on the line. Yeah, and in the very beginning, I thought that's kind of a hierarchy in the workers. Like maybe those uniforms imply that they are working for like different tasks. And later on, I just realized no, they actually from different companies. They are the dispatch workers. Most of them are dispatch workers. Yeah, of course, the Maquiladora, they have their formal employees, but the number is very few. Yeah, most of the workers working on the line is actually dispatch worker. And so I try to figure out what really happened. And that is because this 2012 Labor Reform Act. So today I'm trying to explore, because I still, this is developing research. So I don't have like a really firm conclusion. But I try to explore that what is the effect of this Labor Reform Act. So this Labor Reform Act is actually kind of proposed by the Mexican government, and in the 2012 they also have like a regime change. A new president, his name is Peña Nieto. He just elected, and he proposed this Land Reform Act, and in this Labor Reform Act, sorry. Yeah, in this Labor Reform Act, he tried to relax the labor regulations and in order to attract the foreign investments. In the past, like according to a Mexican sociologist, his name is Post, I believe. Yeah, he believes that Mexico actually have like the most advanced labor institution in the 20th century around the world, because in their institution they have the minimum wage, and they have the maximum working time in their constitution. Yeah, and so in the 2012, Peña Nieto tried to change this regulation and change the law in order to attract more foreign investments. And so in this Labor Reform Act, he kind of almost deregulate, but it's kind of relaxed he allowed the employers to provide different terms of work contract. That means that different terms, And so in the past, if employer they fire a worker, and the worker actually can sue the employers, and usually they can win in the court, and the employers need to pay for a huge amount of fine. Yeah, but after this Labor Reform Act, this kind of cancels. Yeah, so now they kind of make the labor condition worse, but it's more friendly for the employers. Yeah, and also in this Labor Reform Act, because they now the employer can provide the different terms of the work contract to the workers. So that made the temp agency and the dispatch worker possible in the job market. Yeah. So when I walk into the Maquiladora, that is what I'm saw in their cafeterias. Like you can see, like this guy, he wear the blue shirts. These are the former employee for the Maquiladora, but all other people wear like dark blue vest. Those are the workers from the temp agencies. They are dispatch workers. Mm-hmm. And in my Maquiladora, in the side-eye research, that Maquiladora actually have 4 different production lines. And usually their former employees only operate 1 line. Another 3 lines is all operated by the dispatch workers. Yeah, so you can see that the number is totally, the dispatch worker is outnumbered for the former employee. Yeah, during the busy seasons. So I call this is the rise of the dispatch workers. And the temp agency is actually booming post the Reform Act. That according to my study and interview with those workers, they told me that these dispatch workers came into the Maquiladora after 2012. Usually, most of them are become like really common workers in 2014. Yeah, so I thought that is a new phenomenon in the Maquiladora history, because in the past, most of the Maquiladora studies didn't mention this kind of new phenomenon, because at that time, there are not that many dispatch workers. Yeah, I interviewed the human resource managers about in that Maquiladora, and he told me that they do have some dispatch workers in the past, but this dispatch worker cannot operate on the line. They just can do some periphery job, like the cleaning toilet, or do some kind of other, not the production task. But after that Reform Act, I just realized that they can replace the former employees, and they work just as the former employees. So these dispatch workers, when they outnumber the former employees, I wonder what is their effect in the Maquiladora, especially in the labor control center. Yeah, and I try to, so today I try to make a point is like this dispatch worker, what is their influence to the Maquiladora management, and what is their influence, their effect to the other workers. And the first one is like the fragmentation of the workforce. These dispatch workers for themselves, they basically, the dispatch worker themselves, the background is totally varied. I interview most of the dispatch worker, they can be like 60 years old and almost end of his careers, or they can be a college student during his summer vacation. He tried to find a temporary job. Yeah, so their educational background, their marriage status, their age, their like basically they're everyone. Like everyone who want to find a job, they can become a dispatch worker. Yeah, so like in this background, they basically they don't know each other actually. Well, even they're from the same dispatch company, the temp agency, they still don't know each other. So it's really hard for them to get together if they want to fight for their own rights or something. Yeah. So the dispatch worker, they are hard to build a rapport relationship with dispatch worker inside the dispatch worker, or they also hard to build a relationship with the formal employees because they are like the temp workers, they only stay in a Maquiladora maybe no longer than 2 months. Yeah, the longest dispatch worker group I met in my field work is about 2 months. And some of them is only like 2 weeks. Yeah, so for them, they are like the nomadic people, they keep moving, and it's really hard for them to build any social relationship with any place. And even it's really hard to build a relationship with their colleagues. Yeah, and that prevent them to create some collective bargaining power. Yeah, and also that this dispatch worker, like the dispatch work itself, they have a precarious nature because their work is never be stable. They can move from the factories, from one factory to another in a very short term. Yeah, so that also prevent them to build trade unions or labor unions. Yeah, and it also provides new strategies for the labor control. But before I go into that point, I need to mention that in the past, most of the Maquiladora studies told us like the gender is a very important aspect in the labor control inside the Maquiladora because most of the workers in the past are female workers. They are women and especially young women. But right now it's kind of different, but most researchers still believe that the gender is still important. And I also observed some gender aspect of the labor control in the Maquiladora, especially for the formal employees, like their managers or their line leaders, usually will be senior workers or older male workers or male managers. Yeah, so in the Mexican society, there's kind of a patriarchal society. So these managers or line leaders, they will play like fathers or like older brothers roles, and they try to give the young workers some advice or try to accompany when they have some kind of trouble or emotional issues, that kind of things. Yeah, and that basically created an atmosphere is more like a hegemony one. And well, I know what I'm saying right now sounds like a little bit weird because like usually when the researcher is talking about the gender aspect is the exploitation one. Yeah, like how the management use these gender strategies to exploit the young women. Yeah, and I do believe that it still exists, but we also have like another like more soft and more friendly strategies that still apply in the shop floor. And this gender labor control still exists, but when the dispatch workers become like the new means for the labor control, it's a more direct and a more brutal way. Because right now, if there are any workers that have problems about their working condition or about the shop floor. If this questionable, if these workers is a dispatch worker, then the company, the Maquiladora, can send him away or send her away like immediately. If he make any complaint, then maybe he made a complaint in the morning and he will disappear in the afternoon. So right now for the Maquiladora managers, they don't need to solve or they don't need to persuade their workers like they will solve their problems or their complaint. They just send away these workers. So this is a more direct and an easier way for the labor control. And this actually like make less trouble for the Maquiladora managers too. Yeah, and for the former employees, like these dispatch workers, when they present in the shop floor, they actually is kind of reminder to tell these former employees that there are a bunch of people they can replace your position immediately. So you better keep in line. Yeah, you better to obey the orders and to cooperate with the managers. Yeah, and also is like I just mentioned that the dispatch worker, the number is totally outnumbered to the former employees. So they actually diluted the collective power of this former employee. Because right now, when the former employee, if they want to strike, okay, they only can like stop one line, one production line, but another 3 production lines still can be operated normally, or even they can call the other dispatch workers to come and operate. So that actually make the collective power, or if the former employees want to bargain with the managers, that actually weaken their powers. Yeah, so, okay. So because I don't have that much time, so I just jump to the conclusion. Like this 2012 labor reform did attract more foreign investments. In fact, there are many Asian companies like the Taiwanese company and the Chinese company, Japanese, Koreans. After 2012, they go to the Mexico and set up the Maquiladora there. But the price is like they compromise the workers' rights and the job securities in the institutional aspects. And so this economic growth for the Mexico statewide is actually achieved at the cost of the deepen the labor exploitation. Yeah, so that's my presentation. Thank you very much.